Welcome to Divorce Diary Show podcast. My name is Michelle Trena. I'm the creator of Divorce Diaries, and today I have a fabulous guest. I am very honored to have her. She's a divorce coach, a mom, a veteran to our country. She is a therapist, licensed social worker, and she is an amazing human being. Please welcome Keena Crowley, everybody. Woo, woo, woo! Who just saw what a hot mess I am. This is the show. I had to change our time. I'm getting my coffee together. My bed has laundry on it. How are you, Keena?
I am great. I'm glad to be here. Yes, so thank you for that intro.
Tell us about yourself.
Yeah. I am the CEO and founder of My Thriving Life Academy, where we help women over the age of 35 who feel stuck or overwhelmed to break free from that disappointment of a broken relationship so they could thrive and live a blissful life after divorce. And really with that, it took for me to go through my own journey to end up where I am.
So the My Thriving Life Academy, this is what I saw on Facebook, right? So we're going to talk about where you guys can go find Keena and the My Thriving Life Academy, but I'd love for you to talk about where this all started, because you have such a rich history of experiences. First of all, the fact that you are a U.S. vet, you served in the Army, you served overseas.
Yes, I deployed to Iraq.
Okay, so you must be thinking I'm a real fucking mess. Like, I could never be in the Army. My dad was in the Navy and he would be dying right now. Like, look at this. This is what would the... So tell us how your background, even and you're a parent, how all of this transpired into being a divorce coach from the time you were in the military to the time you were getting divorced. How did that all conspire?
Well, yes. So honestly, my military experience kind of had me think that I could hold on to my marriage. I was in an abusive relationship. And so that need to be strong, that wearing the mask and such, which it helped and it hurt at the same time. But one day I made that decision to leave, and it wasn't easy, but the military helped me in the sense of being able to pivot, being able, instead of me balling up in my bed and being unable to function, I was able to make moves and compartmentalize, put that emotional side, so I could take action and take care of my son. He has special needs, he has ADHD, autism, and so he needed me. But I went through my emotions. I went through the grief cycle and stages of grief. And I thought I had reached acceptance and that I was no longer angry. But I found or realized I was actually stuck. I didn't see it initially. I was a whole therapist at that time.
Right.
Going to work, telling other people, hey, you need to get out of that. You know, hey, you need to loving yourself. You can't block people from, block everyone out of your life. We don't thrive in isolation. Yet I was going home and I was doing that very same thing. And it's kind of sad and morbid when I look back. But my mindset was, oh, I'm fine. I'm going to
keep moving.
Old. And I'm just going to Netflix and chill by myself.
Well, the compartmentalizing with you were saying as in the Army is that you were able to compartmentalize. I can't speak. Put everything in different little corners, right? Yes. And then you were able to and that's, first of all, kudos to you for being able to juggle all that, because most of us would be like, I would be in my bed crying for weeks. I can't compartmentalize that great. And it does serve a purpose for some things, but others, and like you're saying, you hit a wall where you're like, wait a minute, I'm helping other people, but I'm feeling the depletion. Before, so can you rewind a little bit when you were married? What did that look like for you? Because a lot of people think, oh, divorce is not funny. When I do my show, divorce is not funny. There's nothing, funny about it. But It is because of all the challenges you went through. I think there is comedy in everything. You can find the silver lining, right? So you told me yesterday a little bit about when we talked offline about your experience when you were moving and everything, and you were serving overseas. Can you talk about when you were married and what triggered you into the divorce?
Yes, yes.
And then we'll
So
find your ex and we will throw eggs at his house. No, I'm kidding.
but yeah, so I had gotten out of the military at this point, and my ex he had just returned from a tour in Korea, so he was active duty, and we moved to Washington State. We PCS'd, and we're there, we're house hunting, and we're trying to reunite
Yeah.
and everything. And
Is
one
that
morning,
much time apart? How much time apart did you guys have?
full year, we had the full year. Of
Wow.
course, he didn't come home
I
during
freak out if a guy doesn't text me within 3 hours.
it was rough. We actually kind of broke up, separated. I was done, but he pulled at my heartstrings. I'm
Of
going to
course.
work on myself. And so I gave him another chance. And that's why we were trying to have a fresh start, like look at it as, okay, clean slate, we're starting over. And so things were already off between us. And I thought, okay, maybe just because we haven't been around each other for a while.
Right.
It wasn't meshing the way that a couple after a year of being apart.
Right. You would want to jump on top of each other, and women feel that energy. Like I do. There's that intuition that kicks in, and then the guys are, oh, you're crazy. You're thinking too much. I'm like, no, I know what's happening. I feel
Yes.
it.
Yes. And I could feel it. I could feel
Yes.
something was wrong, but still trying to give it benefit of the doubt and stay
Right.
positive and this and that. And so one morning I wake up and he's literally laying in the bed next to me on, I could see him just doing that. So I'm sitting there and I'm like,
She just might. If you're listening to this if you're not on the YouTube channel, she just might the texting. That would drive me nuts.
yeah. Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I'm like squinting my eyes, playing.
You're trying to see the messages, right?
I'm like, what is he doing? Because at 8:00 in the morning, we don't know anybody in Washington. And he's off. It's not like he was working yet. So
Yeah.
I had to finally say something like, what are you doing? And he's like, and you see him clicking out of stuff. So
Clicking out of the apps. Damn it.
I'm like, go back. What was that? And at that point, I was all over him. And I hadn't done that since he had gotten home. I was giving him benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But sure enough, he was on Snapchat and everything else. Yeah. And personally, I'm like, why does a married man need to be on Snapchat? Like, that's just my opinion with that. And I didn't know. I didn't even know that he had a Snapchat account or anything. It was secretive. So yeah, I was all over him. Hey, open everything up. And it turned into a very, very bad fight and argument. And I ended up leaving that day. Because I knew, I was like, no. And he was literally, we were not closing. We had gotten acceptance on an offer on a house that day. And I had to call the realtor and say, look, something came up. We're not taking the house. So he was like, yeah, we could just live together and make it work. No. So
do you know there's a saying, so this reminds me of a saying of God doesn't always come when you call, but he comes on time.
yes.
And that's coming on, like that had to happen then, because in most people, I know a lot of women, including probably myself, that would have said, okay, well, I really love this person though. I just signed the deal for a house. Like I've went through similar circumstances with my ex-husband where I was like, well, we were pregnant and it was just like, but you decided to take action, which I think is setting the stone of who you are, your character, right? That regardless, you know that you're worth more, right?
Yeah.
So then first of all, I love the Snapchat bit because let me tell you something. I do a thing about WhatsApp. On a side note, I think all these apps are cheating apps, obviously, because my guy friends go, well, any app can be a cheating app. I'm like, see, you're found out. You do it. But it's kind of what puts the anxiety in us. As for me, and some of my friends, female friends, they're like, yeah, I can't handle if I'm talking to a guy, right? Well, even if this is like, if we're divorced and we're dating, there are so many forms of communication to try to, what is it called? to taunt them. It's like, oh, well, I can't think of the word, but it's like temptation, right? And yeah, you have to trust your partner, but there's so many different things. And for you, your gut was telling you something's not right, but you were giving them the benefit of the doubt, which we all do. And this experience in itself, right? Like, okay, he lied, I left. Now I'm going to put my foot down and demand better for myself. When did you officially turn what you were going through and into helping others and become the divorce coach, that fabulous divorce coach that you are today?
Thank you. Well, like I said, I had to go through my own motions, and I reached that point of no longer being angry, but I was alone and saying that that's what I was going to be the rest of my life. And that wasn't healthy either, because that was my fear. I was afraid nobody's going to ever hurt me again. I won't put myself out there. I won't put myself to be vulnerable. And
I always do that.
It's not going to happen. And truth be told, I was lonely, and my own mother was telling me, she's like, you need to get back out there. No, I'm fine. And so
I have a body pillow, Mom. I'm okay.
Okay. And so it was fear. It was really fear holding me back. And so one day, remember, I was a therapist at the time. One day I'm sitting in my office and I get a phone call, and it's the doctor on the other end saying, hey, you have a brain aneurysm. And in that moment, like, the world stopped. My mind just flashed back to so many things. It flashed back to a couple years before, when my mother had a ruptured brain aneurysm and almost didn't make it. She's still with us, thank God, but almost didn't make it. It flashed back to when I was 14, well, rewinding more, when I was 13, I was molested. When I was 14, had my first child and made that promise to my child, I'll be the best mother ever. When I was 18 and was homeless, when I joined the military, deployed to Iraq and returned, but my body returned, not my mind. And even the emotional abuse that I went through in my marriage, it flashed back to all these things I went through. And it was like, I'm not ready yet. And so I had a choice to make. And once that initial shock went away, I was able to, face my choices. I could either continue to live like the dead woman walking, because really I saw it. I was like, wow, I'm not really living my life.
I'm not living my life. Yeah.
Right. Or I could live in fear. Oh my gosh, I got this ticking time bomb in my head that can kind of rupture at any minute. I could die any day. Or I could thrive instead of just survive and make the best out of my time. And that's what I chose to do. And even still, I didn't see what I'm doing yet on my radar. It was just like, I'm just going to start living. I'm going to start taking care of me, truly taking care of me. And slowly, in doing work and focusing on myself, I started to get back out there. And actually, funny story, I got on Tinder for the first time.
Yes.
I got on Tinder, and I got on there saying, you know what, I'm not getting on here to hook up, but I realized I need some kind of companionship. I'm not looking for a relationship, but I need something. And so like my profile was like, look, if you're looking to hook up, keep on swiping left. And it's so funny, the very next day, it was like 1 a.m. I'm setting up my profile. And the very first day that I'm on there, the next morning, I had actually swiped right on a few guys. And one of the guys that I swiped right on, we struck up a conversation. He had swiped right on me as well. And lo and behold, like the greatest love ever. Never, ever, ever, ever would have expected this. On Tinder.
This is your first swipe. She's on the love of her life. I love this. This is a Lifetime movie. What the hell? How are you not a Lifetime movie? Okay.
I'm working on it.
She has suffered through child abuse, physical, emotional abuse, been an Army veteran in Iraq, and has children as a child with special needs. You're smiling. You're absolutely beautiful, by the way. If you guys are listening to this, you have to go to the YouTube channel because you're gorgeous. And she just found the love of her life on Tinder. I love this. Can I write the special, please? This is great. Yeah. Okay, wait. So you're still together with him?
We're still together. He's actually very, very supportive in what I'm doing. Supportive of my, it's something, I swear. So
I need to sage myself. I need help in this department very badly.
Everything that I've gone through, going from the emotional abuse that I went through and then getting to the point where that fear, I'm done, this is not going to happen again. And also that fear of, it's not for me. I will see the happy couples out there and I'm like, that love isn't for me. Like I'm
I
not
do
going.
that. I do that. I just did
Yes.
that last night. I'm like, I keep thinking about, and I don't mean to interrupt you. First of all, this is so much powerful stuff. We're gonna have to have you back on a part 2 episode because there's so many rich things here. So I've been doing that to myself because every time I connect with a guy that I really like, especially post divorce, they have feelings for me, but they can't be with me. And I just keep thinking, and when I see other happy couples that are like, and they're like a gorgeous couple, and like that's the type of guy I'd want to have in my life, I think they're never going to be attracted to me. They're never going to want me. And I don't know what's going on in my head. I can't talk about it on air for purposes for my family, but I have had experiences that have related to, I think, like why I'm this way.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And I don't know if that's dealing with, like, I have wonderful, loving parents and stuff like that. So it's nothing to do with my parents' situation, but like I had something happen to me when I was younger with a male, and it just, I don't know if that's the driving force. So when you're saying that you didn't think you were worthy enough, right? And this is kind of how we wanted to talk about self-love in this episode, and self-worth. I feel like that's extremely connected. What would you say to me? Because I am stuck in that mindset for a long time.
I would say um, one thing that helped is pushing past my fear, but in not just jumping out there and taking chances with just anybody, and trying my best to leave the past in the past. And although it's going to affect me, right? It's going to affect you. But trying to see things with a new lens, looking at lessons learned. And also one thing that helped was, for me, not just when I was going through my anger, I looked at everything he did, right? And everything that happened to me. But no, I was like, all right, what part did I play in that? And that's one of the hardest things for most women to do, is say, and not necessarily saying what happened to you as a child, like what part you played, but just even lessons that I could learn from my previous marriage, like despite the abuse and everything, what were some things that I could take away and learn from that, whether it's red flags to look out for, new ways of forming boundaries, ways of loving myself and leaving sooner, because knowing my self-worth, even if that means I got to be alone for a little while. And so taking your time.
So say that part again. Knowing your self-worth, and what did you say? In knowing your self-worth.
And in a sense, not settling, even if that means having to be alone, like being with yourself. Sometimes a lot of times, that's what we need. We need to learn to love ourselves first before expecting it truly from someone else. And that's really what was missing, because when I went into this new relationship, I didn't rush it. I didn't go in with certain expectations. If anything, he and I live far apart. Over an hour. Okay, to me that was kind of far. But a
lot of guys don't want to drive 10 minutes to my house. So
exactly.
I mean,
and I purposely swipe right for that reason. I mean, other than other things I like, because I said,
you can be honest. We have to be physically attracted to them from the picture. Come on, that's why they have it there. I mean, there's guys I've been with that I was emotional connection, and I would have probably not swiped on them. So that's like always my concern with the apps. But like, there was an initial connection. Got it.
Yes. And so part of that, I looked at the distance, because I said, I know me, and I know how quick, me personally, how if it's going well, I'll cling. And emotionally,
I always cling.
Right. So I had to give myself that buffer. Like, if we're far, then I can't.
I just was holding my pillow, and Keena looked at the screen and was like, what the hell is she doing? That's what I do. I'm like, oh my gosh, we have a connection. Don't go. And he can have like 1,000 red flags on him.
Exactly. So it forced me, by adding that factor of there's distance between us, it forced me to take it slower, even though things progressed fast, but it wasn't forced. It was natural at both ends. And after going through that, I look back and I'm like, looking at everything I've been through, I could see other women stuck like I was, walking the same journey, maybe wearing different shoes. And I want them to have what I have. I want them to, live in their purpose. I want them to have that happiness and that love, which it starts within. And so,
Well,
yeah,
so
so
if what's like a like I'm a kinesthetic learner, right? Like I have to be able to move and touch, and that's how kind of I heal and process. So one of my friends is a hypnotherapist, and she's like, you should do mirror work. I tried it, and then I wasn't consistent with it. What is something do you tell your if I go to your workshops, or if I go online? So my Thriving Life Academy, there's a Facebook page, there's Instagram. We're gonna put the link in the description on the podcast and on my YouTube. But what is a tool that I can help like practice every day? That's something like I can actually do and feel. Does that make sense?
yes, yes, it's really the most powerful two things. One, writing. I'm big
Writing,
on
yes.
writing because you can express yourself. You can be as petty as you want in that
Yeah,
moment. You're giving it
I
all.
am petty.
Yeah. So put it on paper. It's your own private thought, non-judgmental. But the other thing is gratitude. And a lot of people,
Okay.
especially women going through divorce, they're able to see all the negativity.
Yeah.
But and I always form it in, what are your wins? What's something positive
What are the
that
wins? Yeah.
look at? And at first, most women, they have a very hard time, and it's things that just happen to them. But you sit and you really focus on what's something good happening and write it down, and that forces you to reflect in a positive way, and you're changing your mindset to
Yeah.
see the positivity.
So I love that. So writing, obviously I write as a comedian, I write every day, and just as a person and human, like I've been writing since the sixth grade. It always does help. The gratitude thing too is so something that we don't, I think I am grateful for my daughter. I'm grateful for a home. I'm grateful for clothes and food, but I've been trying to focus, and I was talking about this last week, physically feeling the gratitude, right? Like just taking a moment to inhale and exhale of like the space you're in, because I feel like we don't yeah, I'm thankful for this, and then we rush off. Like I come from a very loud very high strung Italian family, as you can tell probably from my persona. You're probably gonna need a Xanax after the this session. I'm sorry. But I need to embody it and feel grounded, so that then I could feel the gratitude and like, wow, look what's just happened. You know, all these wonderful things are happening. Being alone or single, you know, not married or divorced, right? Like that has that negative connotation on it. And when I look back, I was not happy married. So it was like the opposite of what you're thinking, right? So feeling that energy, I love gratitude and writing are two big things, guys. Takeaways from this: gratitude, right? Writing, and the fact that Keena has been able to pivot. Pivoting is another keyword I love that you mentioned, is pivoting from your background, you know, in as a veteran, that really serves a really fabulous purpose. You clearly have a great like mom who has brought you up to be like a amazing human, because that comes from within. I mean, I don't know. I don't know your family, but like it's you have a very well balanced foundation, especially for all the things that you've gone through. You're very positive outlook. So we have to have you back. We meaning me, myself, and I, and the tissue box that is my producer. Look at this. This is okay. So that we can like bring my exes on. Oh, what's going on, Keena? I was in the military too. I served in Afghanistan. By the way, I got it wrong when he told me. I thought. No, he served in Kuwait. And I texted him like, you served in Afghanistan, right? Right? And he was Kuwait. And I was like, I felt so bad. Everybody knows. Okay, so my ex, the cop, who was also in the military, and I was dating him. I told Keena this. I was dating him for like 6 months. That's the longest relationship I've had post-divorce. It's pathetic because is it pathetic? I don't know.
Some women post-divorce have had no relationships,
Okay.
not even any interaction really romantically with a man. So 6 months, no good.
Well, I think I used to say to him, like, do you have any PTSD? And he'd be like, no. And then like actually not 6 months in, 2 months in, I asked his friends who set us up, they were army buddies, and the wife was like, oh, he definitely has PTSD. They don't admit it, Michelle. I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I'll be your support system. And he didn't want me to be his support system. So it was a bad spiraling, but he's a good sport. Like I do a lot of his stuff in the show, and he's like, cool, glad you could turn it into humor. And like the other guy, like it's funny because like I do him a lot and he likes it, but I would have never thought that at first. He's like, yeah, go ahead. Because I was so upset when we broke up. I stayed on his porch all right, we're going into a tangent, but Keena can help me in my dating issues in the next episode. Can you please tell everybody where they can find you, and also how anybody around because I have people who listen in from all over the country and the world. I think I have one listener in Switzerland. How can they find you, and can they receive also in-person and virtual services with My Thriving Life Academy?
Yes. So you can follow me on all social media platforms at Coaching with Keena.
Yes. Double checking.
Make sure you get my free gift, KeenaFreeGift.com. And yes, if I described you, I saw your face.
Coach, wait, what's the free gift? I'm all about free gifts. Sorry.
Yes, so it's a video that talks about the 5 biggest challenges in life after divorce. So I go into.
I love that.
So yeah, you got to get my free gift. Check that out.
Can you say where to find that free gift again?
Yes, KeenaFreeGift.com.
Okay.
And if you are that woman that is struggling, and let me clarify really quick, although we talked about the post-divorce portion, which that's where I started working with women.
Yes.
In aftermath. I had so many women come to me prior to, they're in the process of divorce and like, hey, can you help me? So I actually launched a new program. So I serve women either going through the process or in the aftermath of a divorce, and even including women who are going through a bad breakup, because those feel like divorces sometimes. So
they do.
I'm not excluding them either. So if that is you and you realize listening to this, you're like, gosh, she just described me. I am stuck, whether stuck in my anger, stuck in my loneliness, can't keep moving, feel lost in my identity or purpose, then please book a call, free call. A
free gift. I love you. And also you don't, so beginning, middle, and end of the divorce process, doesn't matter where you're at. And right. You're also opening up the doors to friends who aren't even divorced, but they're going through a bad breakup, which is really connected. So First of all, you got to get, I wrote this down because I want to put this in the bio for both the YouTube and the podcast, KeenaFreeGift.com. You can also book her. And then if you go to her website, I think you can get everything at her website, which is KeenaSpeaks.com. And I'll put that right. And we are going to share that on everything. And we're going to have you back because I think it would be fun to have you with another person on the show. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, maybe we should. I have some male followers that are struggling with women too. So do you also help men, or is it only women?
My focus is women.
Women, right.
But if a man comes to me and he basically
boot camp
mold, of the women, he just has genitalia and such, then I'll help a man.
We're gonna have to get the men that are open on their Snapchats into the Keena Crowley boot camp of My Thriving Life. Get off your fucking Snapchat, asshole.
Not if you're trying to be in something serious.
No. Oh God, I don't even open the chats on Snapchat. You are lovely. And amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. And Keena, thank you so much for coming today, virtually coming. Hopefully one day in person we'll have a nice studio that you can come to. KeenaSpeaks.com. Keena Crowley, the founder and CEO of My Thriving Life Academy. Please go check her out. She's awesome. Stay tuned for more Divorce Diaries and keep living your happily ever divorced life.